I have never been to a playoff baseball game, never mind a championship game like that. And it was just electric. So it'll be really interesting to see how this team performs against Ohtani and the Dodgers. But the one thing that came out, and it occurred to me as this was rolling out this week, Tim, and the cost of the tickets. My son and I were sitting way up at 500s. You know, there was like 3 rows behind us. We were as far as you could go in the dome. But there were 4 or 5 people sitting in front of us, and all they did was complain. They were workmates, and they were talking about work almost through the entire game.
Shame,
right? And then there must have been
tickets away. Give them to the deserving.
Well, there must have been $1,500 worth of tickets sitting there just bitching about work.
Oh.
And I thought, okay, well, that's pretty expensive. Of course, the next day, tickets are going on sale. And I heard all the money, and I heard Deb was trying to get into the queue to buy tickets at Ticketmaster, and it was almost impossible to do. That was the story of the day. But then immediately the story was the resellers. And I saw some prices yesterday, $25,000 for a single ticket in the lower bowl. Now, I'm sure you were sitting in some fancy, all the drinks you can drink and food you can eat and all that stuff. But the hue and cry was obvious. Well, the premier's all over it now, saying, we got to do something about this. We got to do something about this. Well, he pulled a pin on a bill that was doing something about that earlier. So it just seems funny to me that now when we've got the Blue Jays there and the costs are up there, all of a sudden we're gouging. How does he square that circle? Because I understand that the rationale behind pulling it or bailing on it initially was we can't enforce it. So, yeah, I kind of get that, but it seems like all of a sudden now this is the hill to die on.
I'd sell for $25,000. I would. I'd turn state's evidence. I'd sell my tickets. I'd tell the girls there's always another time in 32 years. I'd sell for $25,000. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember my dad taking me to a St. Louis Cardinals game. We were on the road, a family trip to Arkansas of all places. Friends, love it. Friends of ours had actually bought a trailer camp in Arkansas. You talk about the stereotype, and we drove down there to stay with them, and it was a wonderful trip. I think I was like 10 or 11, and we went to Busch Stadium, and there was a guy with sunglasses on, short guy. I'm going to guess probably 60s, hat pulled tightly over his eyes, and he wishes my dad says, "Hey bud, come over here." I'm looking at my dad for guidance. What do we do? And he was, I guess the proper term now is a ticket reseller. And so my dad bought home plate right behind home plate, like 8th row up. It was a glorious experience. That became my National League team. Point here, Dave, this has always existed, and I don't think you're going to stop it. I was actually in this seat as Consumer Minister in Ontario. This was an issue then. Granted, prices are higher now. Jays weren't in the World Series, but there was some big events. And my decision, you can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You could try, you could make noise, kind of like politicians will say from time to time, can't stand how gas prices go up every holiday weekend. I'm going to do something about it. And nothing really gets done. So years ago, we went to London, England. Great family trip or a blowout trip after COVID. Wanted to see a Premier League soccer game. Arsenal tickets available. You were actually banned from reselling tickets in England for soccer only. Everything else is fine. Soccer, you cannot, I guess because of the hooliganism, the fights that could happen in the stands, you wear the wrong colors. And I was able to get around that. I swore to the guy I bought him from that I would say he's my best buddy. I've never met him in my life, but he's my best buddy to get around the rules. You will always find a way. And do you really want to put enforcement resources after chasing down, Keith selling his tickets to John and getting a bit of a markup and deciding where that line is? So, it'd be nice if we all got free tickets or affordable tickets. I just don't think it's government's role, or government, when they try, can't stop.